In regards to the MOOCs that you have organized, what experience have you made with those MOOCs? What worked well with this exchange, or where also the challenges are interactive, or is really exchange among the participants also possible through MOOCs? What are the opportunities or still lacks of development in MOOCs? What do you think?
Yeah, with MOOCs, and there's lots of different platforms out there. So we were experimenting. The first one we did was with a German platform called iVersity. Again, this was not so well known as the more established Coursera or edX platforms, but nevertheless, we had quite a good turnout. As I mentioned, 12,000 plus people. So with the platforms and some of their interactive tools, I think we got a lot of flack for the forum, yeah, where end of the day the participants went and created their own Facebook page where they had means of communicating to each other more interactively. So it was quite interesting that from the MOOC we had another ICT application, social media, taking off. Which again is still going on. If you search the MOOC on disasters and ecosystems, the Facebook is still active. So it shows there's a lot of people out there who are interested in this area. The other experience is that we had so much information to share that we made it quite a long MOOC, 12, 12 or 13 weeks. And I think that is a recipe for disaster in hindsight, to have such a long MOOC, but yet we managed to retain quite a number of them. So I think in terms of keeping it focused, keeping it interesting, and keeping it very concise, because every day and everyone these days has very little time and the attention and span is very limited. So how we capture them, keep them interested, and then in terms of the assessments, so on and so forth. With the third MOOC, we had quite an interesting approach where at the end of the MOOC, the participants actually were assigned to do something practical in their areas, and this was on marine litter. So we had virtual hotspots of activities all around the globe. I think there were 100 plus countries where we saw things happening in their own small way, and some interestingly big, some small. So we thought that rather than only one way, we, towards the end, to actually empower them to do something about the situation, and where we had a Google map and Google layer of activities, which was quite interesting to us. Another experience that we had in terms of trying to put it along two tracks, which I mentioned earlier, where we tried to have a more general track in the beginning that everyone could sign up for, but then beyond that we had a more specialized and what we call the expert track. So this two-track method also helped us to quite an extent. And many people, and it was quite interesting that a lot of the participants were students. And the universities, in a sense, I guess, flipped the classroom, making the MOOC sort of compulsory, so that by the time the students come to class, their knowledge of the issues is slightly higher, and the discussions in the classrooms were more at a slightly higher intellectual level, where there is more discussion rather than just knowing about the facts and issues. So in terms of our learning experience, some of the challenges I mentioned was in terms of duration, the platform, so on and so forth. But then some of the interesting approaches was to flip the classroom, to look at these two-track approaches, etc. Yeah? But again, for us, we had 3 MOOCs lined up this year, where we're also looking at the level of interaction between the participants. Again, when the numbers are huge, it becomes a bit of a challenge. And rather than peer-reviewed assignments, some of these, what I mentioned, practical projects where you can see things happening, also, I guess, is something positive for us.